I need another coffee. I need a coffee. This is going to be a very good coffee. Alrighty. What? What is this? Diana, do you know by any chance where we keep the coffee machine's instruction manual?
Yeah, it's in the big Canva box right below the Ganesha.
Okay, so the big Canva box below the Ganesha. Ganesha. Ah, there you go. The big Canva box. Oh, there you go. It's like 300 pages.
Why don't you use the custom GPT I made?
Hey guys, Ronnie here, back in the studio. I have my coffee and I want to show you the steps that you can use to build your very own custom GPT, just like Diana did with that coffee machine instructions manual. And to be honest, it saved me a bunch of time. So today's tutorial is all about why and when you should create your very own custom GPTs. I'm going to show you all the steps. Don't worry, there is no coding involved. And even if you're not a great ChatGPT user, don't worry, you got this. It's super straightforward. All right, before we start, let's talk about who can actually build custom GPT. Does anyone has that functionality enabled? Well, the answer is no, okay? Anyone can use custom GPTs, but in order to create one, you will need a ChatGPT Plus account. Plus, Teams, Pro, you need a paid account. From the ChatGPT's homepage, you can access your custom GPTs in two different ways. The first one is by clicking on your profile picture right here. And if you are on a paid account, you can go to My GPTs. So click here, you will see a list of all your custom GPTs so far. And if you want to create a new one, just click on the first button right here, Create a GPT. This will lead you directly to this interface right here where you can start writing or building your custom GPT. I'm going to go through all of this with you in a second, but before that, I want to show you the other way to access your custom GPTs. So the other way from the homepage still is to come to the sidebar right here, make sure you open your sidebar, and then at the top of that sidebar menu right here, you should see a few of your custom GPTs or the latest ones you have been using, together with this button right here, Explore GPTs. So when you click here, and this button, everyone will have it, free users included. This is basically the link to the GPT store. So anyone can use custom GPTs, okay? Remember that, but only paid users can create them, all right? So this tutorial obviously is about creating your very own GPTs and saving a bunch of time. So paid users will also have this button right here that says Create. Okay, so when I click here, I come to the same interface I was showing you before. All right, let's now answer the question, when does it actually make sense to build a custom GPT versus simply using ChatGPT like we always do? Well, the answer is in many cases, actually, and particularly in these specific cases. The first one is when you need ChatGPT to have specialized knowledge about a niche expertise. So that is exactly the case of our coffee machine right here. We need ChatGPT to have this very niche knowledge about this specific model, the Philips Latte Go 3200 series coffee machine. Okay, so we need a niche expertise. So in that case, it does make a lot of sense to create a custom GPT because in it, we will provide the context, we will provide that specific knowledge, and you will see how in a second. The second use case where it does make a lot of sense to create a custom GPT versus using a normal prompt is when you want ChatGPT to create content, to create outputs in a consistent brand voice or tone. In other words, whenever you need ChatGPT to write in a specific manner or like a specific person, in that instance, like me, for example. A third use case is when you are looking at automating repetitive tasks. things you do over and over. Me, for example, I always have to come up with good YouTube titles for our tutorials. And we do this several times a week. So I have built a custom GPT that helps me brainstorm and analyze and compare these different YouTube titles so that it's easier for me than to just every time I need a title, go back to ChatGPT, pretty much give it the same prompt in order to achieve the same kind of output. Now, this is crystallized in some instructions I gave the GPT, and now I can just simply use it whenever I need it. Another interesting use case would be when used internally for a team or a business. For example, you could give your custom GPT insider knowledge about, I don't know, your company's processes, your company's workflows or database, and ask it to act as a personal assistant that would just fulfill specific tasks based on that specific knowledge you have provided about your team or your business. So that would be a very interesting use case as well for a custom GPT, because you provide the context once and then you don't have to repeat that information, that context, every time you need an output. And then the last use case I highlighted here, but I'm sure there would be many more, is for interactive learning and training. So that would be attributing a role and give instructions, clear instructions to your custom GPT because you want it to be a teacher but act and behave in a specific way. An example of that would be me trying to learn a foreign language. I could instruct my GPT to only answer to me in that specific language I'm trying to learn. So you can really go deep into how you customize your GPT when it comes to interactive learning and training. All right, guys, it is now time to see how we can configure that custom GPT. So for this, I'm going to start from my homepage and go to my profile picture, my GPTs, create a GPT. So from here, there is a few formalities you will have to go through, like giving a name to your custom GPT, a brief description. And then where the things really get serious is this instructions box right here. So I want to get the few first things out of the way. So give it a name. Maybe we can call it Philips Latte Go 3200 series. Now for the description, could be something as simple as answer all your questions about the Philips Latte Go 3200 coffee machine. Oh, you can also add a custom photo, a photo right here for your GPT. We can do this later, all right? It's not a big deal if you don't have a photo right away. So two different tabs here. This is important. By default, you will land on the Configure tab with all of these fields that you are seeing here. But if you want to test your GPT, you can switch to the Create button and here run some tests, okay? But since we haven't yet given it any instructions, it's not going to do anything, right? And this is where things could get a little bit more complicated, but I want to make things simple for you. I realize this might be the very first time you create a GPT, so I want to give you a framework. Is there a specific formula we can follow to write good instructions for our custom GPT? Well, you know what? I don't want to do the work. I don't want to do the hard research. At the end of the day, I want AI to work for me. So what I've done here, let me show you by switching to this other conversation with ChatGPT. I prompted the following. What would be a good framework to give guidelines to your custom GPT? Then I ran this prompt and then ChatGPT gave me this answer. When designing a custom GPT, you will want a solid framework to define how it behaves, responds, and interacts. Think of it as giving your AI a job description. I think that's a good metaphor. What it should do, how it should speak, and what it should avoid. And then it gives me a 5-part framework for custom GPT guidelines. So I'm not going to go into all of the details right here, but basically remember that it has 5 important sections to creating your custom GPTs. And I have summed up that output from ChatGPT on this slide right here. So the 5-part framework. First, personality and tone. So that is how your custom GPT should sound. Should it sound friendly? Should it give you step-by-step instructions? Should it add a touch of humor, etc., etc.? So you can give that set of instruction under the first point of the framework, personality and tone. Number two, knowledge and expertise. What your custom GPT should know. So that is the core of the knowledge. You need to give very specific guidelines about the knowledge, or even better, you can provide files. You see this button right here, upload files, and here you can upload PDFs, you can upload images, JPEG or PNGs. I believe you can upload CSV files, that is your spreadsheets. So what I'm going to do is here, use this button right here to upload this instruction manual. You see, this is the same instruction manual that I found in my big Canva box, 300 pages almost, that I found on the internet. Okay, it's a PDF of the instruction manual. So I'm going to upload this to my knowledge base right here just by using the upload files button. That is pretty convenient. It's going to be uploading, and in the meantime, I'm going to come back to my 5-point framework right here. Now, let's move on to point number 3, interactions and engagement. How it should respond. What kind of structure should it give you when it answers any question you might ask it? We'll see how to write these properly as well. Limitations and boundaries. What it should avoid, what it should not do. Maybe my coffee machine guru shouldn't give me financial advice or help me find the best title for my YouTube videos. You know, it's not its job. It's not within its core capacities. And finally, you can add your own touch to your custom GPT by customizing it and adding some special features. Okay, what makes your custom GPT unique in a way? So you don't have to do that. Could be simple and boring, or you can if you want. So you could ask the GPT to, for example, add emojis here and there, or use humor when it answers. And I would recommend you screenshot this slide because you will need that when it comes to asking ChatGPT to write these custom instructions for you. Let me show you. Remember, I told you I don't want to work. I want the AI to work for me. Okay, and that should always be the case. Like, otherwise, what's the point? You're not working for ChatGPT. ChatGPT is working for you. And on this channel, this is what we are going to do as much as possible to make the AI work for us. All right, so that being said, let's have a look at this follow-up prompt I wrote right here. Okay, that sounds great. Now, please use this framework to write the guidelines to create a custom GPT that would answer any questions I have about my coffee machine. The model of that machine is the Philips Latego 3200 series. I will attach a PDF document with the instruction manual of the machine. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm using a separate ChatGPT conversation. You see there's 2 different tabs right here. Okay, here is my custom GPT being built, and this one is just this other conversation. So I'm using this separate conversation to help me come up with the guidelines for my custom GPT. And I'm using the 5-part framework as my base right here. I'm telling it, okay, this framework is good. Now help me create the guidelines for this specific purpose of custom GPT. And there you go. It gave me my custom GPT guidelines. So it gave me a name for it. So it's called Philip Latego Assistant. Okay, I can pretty much use that as it is. Actually, it's better than my previous title. It has a little coffee and a robot emoji. So that's cool. Okay, so the 5 points, number 1 to 5 right here, I have all the guidelines that I need. So I could probably copy everything here, and I will obviously need to read that, but I'm going to paste all of this first right here in my instructions. There you go. All right, so the first one, personality and tone, how it should sound. The assistant should be friendly, knowledgeable, and easy to talk to, like a barista who knows the machine inside out. It should provide clear and practical answers without unnecessary complexity. Tone guidelines, okay, friendly and approachable, like a coffee enthusiast, helping a friend, clear and straight to the point, no fluff, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here it gives me an example prompt setup. You are a helpful and knowledgeable assistant for the Philip Latego, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so point number 2, knowledge and expertise. What it should know, the GPT should be a specialist in the Philips Latego, blah, blah, blah series with detailed knowledge of how to operate, maintain, and troubleshoot the machine. Core knowledge areas, machine setup, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here I need to refer to the knowledge. okay, to this PDF I have uploaded. Knowledge and expertise, what it should know. The GPT should be specialist. Okay, use the PDF uploaded in files as your source of knowledge. Okay, use the PDF uploaded in files as your source of knowledge. PDF uploaded containing the instruction manual of the machine. So use the PDF uploaded in files containing the instruction manual of the machine as your source of knowledge. I think it's good. I think that should be enough. Core knowledge area, machine setup. Okay, so here I have a breakdown of different things. You have expert knowledge of the Philips, Latego, blah, blah, blah. You provide step-by-step instruction, troubleshooting solutions, and maintenance advice based on the official manual and best practices. Official manual provided in the uploaded files and best practice. Okay, perfect. So you see, I'm just like fine-tuning everything that ChatGPT provided to me here. Limitations, avoid the following. I think it's good. Let's give it a shot at this stage. Okay, so now that I have this, I don't have to create it right away. I just simply need to test it. So for this, I'm going to move over the Create tab right here. So I'm going to ask a simple question. How do I change the filter on my coffee machine? How do I change the filter on my coffee machine? So let's see if it can answer this simple question. Okay, so it gave me some answers that feel like for drip coffee makers, you know, this first line of the output right here makes me understand something is not right. Should not talk to me about drip coffee maker when we are talking about the very specific model of coffee machine that is the Philips Latego. So there is something not right in my instructions right here. Okay, so let's come back to point number 2 right here, knowledge and expertise. What should it know? The GPT is, not should be, let's say the GPT is a specialist in the Philips Latego series with detailed knowledge of how to operate, maintain, and troubleshoot this machine, this specific machine. Use the PDF uploaded in files containing the instruction manual of the machine as your only source of knowledge. Okay, perfect. So maybe I should also disable, you see when you scroll further down here, you have the different capabilities of your GPT. I don't want to have access to web search. I don't need Canvas and I don't need DALL-E really. I only need the GPT to get into that PDF and give me the instruction. So I'm gonna leave code interpreter and data analysis enabled here because I'm not sure, but it might mean it has access to the PDF. Okay, so now, you know what? Let's create it. Let's make it for only me. When you want to publish your GPT, you need to choose between these different options. So I'm going to go for only me and save. There you go. Now I have my URL for my GPT. I'm not going to do that. I just want to create here and ask the same question. Okay, how do I change the filter on my coffee machine? How do I change the filter on my, let's just Philips Latego coffee machine. Let's see. There you go. Now, because I added the name Philips Latego 3200 coffee machine, it seems to understand better that I'm talking about this specific machine. Okay, so here I got the correct answer. When should you replace the filter? It tells me the name of that filter, aqua clean water filter, etc., etc. The filter should be replaced every 3 months. So steps to replace: remove the old filter, prepare the new filter, shake the new filter for 5 seconds, immerse it upside down, blah, 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 install the filter, activate the filter, press and hold the aqua clean icon for 3 seconds. This is correct. Done that a couple of times, so I know this is now correct. What I would like to know is, would it give me the same answer if I don't mention the name of? So how do I change the filter on my Philips, let's say on my coffee machine, on my coffee machine? Let's see, because if not, I might need to further tweak. Okay, to change the aqua filter. All right, so it seems to have understood what I meant. Great, I can go back to the configure options right here. All right, great. I have fixed the problem. And you see, writing instructions is just like prompting. You will need to iterate, go back and forth, try it, and see the result. And when you don't get the appropriate result, you need to go back there and fine tune, which is exactly what I did. I've mentioned it before, but you can upload files to your custom GPT in the instruction right here in the configuration to provide that extra knowledge that this specific GPT will use to answer the questions. So here in my coffee machine assistant GPT, I don't really need anything else than the instructions manual. Okay, so this coupled with some basic instructions on how to answer should be enough information for the GPT to work. But I want to come back to another GPT I have created here, the one for the YouTube titles. Okay, so from the GPT page, okay, so from the side menu here, when you click on your GPT, so you can access it, you can access its functionalities. In order to go back to the editing, the back end of that GPT, you will need to click on this little arrow right here and find the option to edit your GPT. So I'm going to edit it right here. So this will give me access to its back end. So here, if I scroll down, I will see that I have uploaded 3 different files right here. So I would say for more complex GPTs, the more files you upload, the better. So for example, here I have uploaded a typical prompt for this GPT. So the structure of a prompt I wanted to use every time it runs the task, okay? So that would be my first PDF right here. So let me show it to you. So you see, this is a quite elaborated prompt. So every time the GPT is going to think or work for me, it's going to be using this core prompt right here. Now, the second PDF I used here is a list of overused keywords and terms I don't want ChatGPT to use in my YouTube titles for this instance right here. So it's just a list of words that I wanted to exclude by default. And then the last one right here, called the ultimate guide to writing YouTube video titles that drive views and search engine visibility, is a more robust document with a lot of strategies and, sources, websites to help the custom GPT understand the basics of writing good titles. And if you wonder how I got this information, well, I used another tool called Perplexity, and I prompted it with the deep research functionality. Let me show you. When you come to the homepage of Perplexity, you can use the deep research right here. You have 5 enhanced queries per day. So these are free, unlike ChatGPT, who requires the very expensive plan in order to use deep research. Well, Perplexity offers that functionality for free. Might not be as good, I don't know, but in my case, it did some pretty decent deep dive into what I was looking for. I could do a separate tutorial about this. I don't want to venture away too far from the core of what I'm trying to show you here. But basically, I ran this deep research based on a simple prompt. Like, the prompt was not too long. See, the prompt in its totality is about this big. So it's not super long. You can screenshot that as well. Try it for yourself. Just replace what's in between the brackets right here for whatever you are researching. Okay. Anyways, let's come back to the back end of my custom GPT for generating YouTube titles here. What you see here, the ultimate guide, blah, 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 is a PDF that I made from this deep research I conducted on Perplexity. I enabled a few other capabilities like web search, canvas mode, and DALL-E image generation. DALL-E here, obviously I don't really need DALL-E to generate a title, but I thought maybe it would be great to follow up once I get my title with some suggestions on a good thumbnail. So if DALL-E is enabled here, maybe I could get some visuals for that potential thumbnail. So I didn't want to close the door. I left DALL-E enabled right here. Anyways, all of this to show you that this knowledge part right here is really critical. You need to upload the information you want your GPT to use in order to serve you the answers, which is exactly what I did with my coffee machine by uploading the instruction manual. Now, there is something else I want to show you. Let me actually run this YouTube title GPT so you see what I mean. You see these 3 tiles right here? These are called conversation starters, and they are here to give users a shortcut to start using the GPT. Okay, so I have myself created for this particular GPT 3 conversation starters. The first one, I need a title for my video. Okay, so if I click here, it will trigger a sequence that will be different from the other 2 tiles. Okay. The second conversation starter is which of these titles is the best. So this is a different use case of the GPT. I would provide different titles and use this style, and ChatGPT will help me find which title is best and give me obviously some reasoning about why this title is better than the other ones. And then the last style, why is this a good title, could be very useful for me to analyze other people's title and gain some insights about why it's good or not good for that instance. Okay, so 3 conversation starters that would trigger 3 types of behaviors in my custom GPT. Now let's come back to the configure tab of this GPT, because I want to show you where you can create these conversation starters and how you should give instruction within your instructions about them. Okay, so the where to create them is very easy. Right below your instructions box, you should see conversation starters. Okay, so you write the first one exactly the way you want them to be displayed right here. I need a title for my video, which of these titles is best, etc. So these are these 3 lines right here. I can easily delete them, or I could add more. Okay, I feel like 3, maybe 4 is a good number. More than that would be a little bit overwhelming. And I don't even know if they let you add more than 4. Probably not. All right, so I have my 3 conversation starters, but how do I give instructions on what to do when a user uses one or the other? Well, this is where you need to make that very clear in your instructions right here. So in my instruction sets, I wrote, there are 3 ways a user can interact with you via the 3 conversation starters. And then I have the first one, I need a title for my video. When a user uses this conversation starter, you will 1, 2, 3, right? I give it some straightforward steps to follow when somebody uses that specific conversation starter. And I do this for each of the conversation starters, okay? So this is pretty much what there is to it. Again, I would encourage you, if this is your first time, don't go for something super complex. Maybe go for something more simple, like my coffee machine example. 1 single file, very like straightforward instruction. You don't even need to go through the 5-step process. I could have used my coffee machine PDF and just say, answer any question about the coffee machine, blah, 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 this model, and source all of your answers from the uploaded PDF. Answer in a friendly way, ask a follow-up question if you need more details or context. I think that would have been sufficient. Just wanted to show you the framework so that you can use it on more examples, more use cases. Now, how do you use the custom GPT? Who can actually use it? Well, it will depend on what you decide when you finalize your custom GPT. You see this share button right here? Well, when you click here, you have to choose between one of these options. It could be only you, it could be anyone with the link, or you could decide to publish your custom GPT in the GPT store for everyone to be able to use it. So in my case, if I wanted to share this with Diana, I could probably go anyone with the link, copy the link. So you see, I got an error message, and this is probably because I'm using a trademark. So OpenAI has becoming very strict about the using other brand names in the name of a GPT. That's why I got an error message. I could appeal, not gonna do this, but just know that if you are using a brand name or copyrighted word in the title of your GPT, it might be complicated to share it with other people. And guys, I still don't have my coffee here. So I think it's time for me to use my custom GPT to debug my coffee machine and actually know what's going on here, because I really need my coffee. All right, update this. Perfect. Now I can run this. All right, you see my GPT is ready. Okay, Philips Lattego 3200 assistant. I have my little photo, invite only. Okay, perfect. Now I want to use this GPT. All right, now let me show you something very cool here. You see what I have here on my phone is a photo of that light, the calc clean red light that was the problem on my coffee machine. I'm just going to screenshot this, right, and send this to my MacBook. All right, so I have my photos coming right here. I'm going to simply bring this and drop it right here on the window of my custom GPT and simply ask the following. What is that red light on my Lattego machine? What should I do? Okay, let's see if it understands what I mean. The red warning light on your Philips Latte-Go machine indicates the machine needs cleaning or maintenance. Specifically, the calc clean indicator is lit, meaning that your machine requires descaling. I think for me, it's the descale machine, right? So number one, ensure the machine is switched on. Remove the milk frother or the Latte-Go unit. Okay, empty or clean the drip tray. Remove and empty the water tank. Then remove the AquaClean water filter. Fill the water tank with Philips descaler solution and water up to the calc clean indication. Let the machine complete the rinsing phase, reinstall the AquaClean filter, and you're done. Okay, so the only thing I need to know here is this Philips descaler solution. I'm not sure what that is, so I'm gonna go and search for that right here on Google. All right, so I see I need this liquid right here to pour in my water tank so that it will descale the machine. And boom, very long book, 300-page book, 0. Ronnie's Custom GPT about the Latte-Go coffee machine, 1. You won. And it saved me a bunch of time. Look at this, man. I'm not gonna read all of this. I have better things to do, like teaching you guys how to create your very own custom GPT. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, leave us a like. It's always good for the channel to show the video to more people. And remember, I have other cool ChatGPT videos in this playlist right here that is popping up on your screen. And subscribe to the channel for more AI's content like this one.